Just after 19:45, 7:45, the teams are coming out onto the pitch. So I think it's a high time we call Mr. Alistair Lamont back into action. He'll be providing commentary of Dundee United versus St Mirren with Rory and John.
Thanks again, David. Yeah, good evening, everyone. The team's making their way onto the pitch just now. St Mirren in their change all-purple kit. United, once they get the tracky tops off, will be in their tangerine and black striped tops with black shorts and tangerine socks. Neither of these sides have won since their respective Scottish Cup last 16 victories, and could both really do with having a victory here this evening to aid their respective causes in the bottom six. It looks like top six is beyond United. The guys have chatted about that. 12 points behind Falkirk. They've got 5 games until the split, but realistically they would probably need to win them all and hope Falkirk didn't manage to win any more. So given the form they've had so far all season, just 6 wins in their 28 games, that seems rather unlikely. As for St Mirren, just 3 points above Kilmarnock with this game in hand, trying to avoid that relegation playoff spot. They were last involved in the relegation playoff in 2018-19 when they did finish 11th, but they beat Dundee United in the final to stay up. And who will come out on top this evening? St Mirren won the first. The St Mirren won it in Paisley in the previous meeting. United won the first meeting here at Tannadice 3-1 back in October, and they would very much settle for a similar outcome, you imagine, this evening. Johnny Russell, as we've said, is on the bench and fit and ready to come on and play his part, but United will look to the starting 11 first and foremost to try and see them over the line. St Mirren with just one away win all season, and that was against Falkirk back in September. It will be St Mirren to kick us off. They're going from left to right as we look at it from our vantage point, high up above the main stand, and Killian Phillips rolls the ball back to Shamal George, who immediately fires it long. Stephen Robinson, as David was mentioning, talking about a horrible game, a second balls game, which a phrase John also used in the build-up. Let's hope there's a bit more to it than that, but you can't be sure as United try and come forward. Looks like Fata, as you predicted, John, is playing a lot more narrow in that sort of 2-10s behind Max Waters, and it looks like it's going to be Farrugia at the moment, actually, who's almost operating in the left wing back role, which is quite unusual in itself.
Yeah, I thought it was 3-4-3, just simply because Fata comes in and plays as that, as you said, double 10 role. I didn't see him playing as a wing back because I think that would play into the way St Mirren would be wanting to attack, with Fata coming out of that area and the centre half getting dragged out. So as you say, Farrugia's going into the left wing back role. What he'll be like there, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's any more suited to it than Amar Fata would be.
The points we were making before the match still stand with that setup
for him instead of Fata. United have got a free kick here. It was a late challenge in the middle of the park, and they're going to have a free kick about 20 yards inside St Mirren territory, and it's a chance to throw the big men up from the back. Your Ross Grahams, Yuri Yovu, will all try and threaten the St Mirren goal here, as the man we're talking about, Amar Fata, prepares to take this free kick. It's right of centre, just about 10 yards more advanced in the centre circle. He clips it to the back post. He's put too much on it though for Graham to be able to help it back across goal. And it's a disappointing set piece opportunity. It was a decent one, but Fata just get too much on it and is behind for a goal kick. 2 minutes in, Dundee United 0, St Mirren 0. Goal kick then to be taken by Shamal George. Pretty quiet around Tannadice. There's not a bad crowd in, you'd have to say, but they're not making a whole lot of racket just at the moment. Let's see if the players can inspire that from them. It's Fraser just allowing Fata to try and jump for the high ball there, and the ball breaks St Mirren's way. Chevalier trying to help it back into the St Mirren half. O'Hara nods it back to Freckleton. Freckleton plays it off Waters. Fata will go and chase that. Gogic first to it, plays it back to George. George taking no chances. First time knocks it up to the halfway line, but it's flicked on by Phillips. Forward by Yovu, and then Tanzer making just his 4th league start of the season. Declan Johns occupied that position for the most part, but St Mirren trying to make some headway down that left flank. Out for a throw in to them midway inside the United half, to be taken in the end by Freckleton, who comes forward from left centre back and throws it into Keanu Bacchus, who has been sorely missed. He's missed 13 games, and with O'Hara missing for a chunk of those as well, it certainly hasn't helped St Mirren's cause. I think, Rory, you said it's the first time the 3 of them, along with Killian Phillips, have played since what, the semi-final against Motherwell, was it?
Well, they played together at Livingston on the weekend, and I just think that the more game time they have together, the better they'll get in midfield. So Livingston this Saturday was the first time they've played together since the semi-final against Motherwell.
Yeah, and you know, many teams in the Premiership would miss players of that quality for as long as Kamara tries to help it forward. Kerestege likewise, but Bacchus is there. It has been played an awful lot in the air so far. It might suit Max Waters, but in steps Richardson. He gets it to Bacchus, who plays it up to the halfway line. The flick from Ndulu takes it only to Kerestege. He plays it forward looking for Stevenson on that far side. Tanzer was in the way. Now it's picked up by Freckleton just inside his own half. Ndulu is in a fairly deep position, plays it back to Freckleton, and now Gogic back at the heart of that defence in the middle of the 3. He angles it out looking for Richardson. Richardson heads it on. Idowu trying to make something of it. Kerestege is there and knocks it clear. Bacchus returns it. Idowu will go and try and chase this, but Kerestege using his frame to just see it out of play, and harmlessly behind for a goal kick to Dundee United. 3 without a win for the home side since beating Spartans here in the Scottish Cup and winning 3-2 in the previous game down at Falkirk, who of course they will meet in the quarter-final again at the Falkirk Stadium on Friday. That's a game that's live on BBC Scotland Television. Looking forward to that one. St Mirren are in our other live game at home to Partick Thistle in the quarter-final, but they've got league business, both of them, to attend to before they can turn their attentions to the Scottish Cup.
You can already see how early stages of the game, I know we mentioned it, how much of a part the pitch is going to play. I don't think there's been a pass that hasn't bobbled 5 times, and the players are finding it really difficult. They don't want to take too many risks. You're getting a lot of diagonal balls, a lot of longer balls, because the pitch is just so difficult to try and play on.
Chevalier picking up just inside his own half, feeds it forward looking for Waters. Freckleton is in the way, it comes off Waters and out for a St Mirren throw-in. Quickly taken back to Gogic just outside his own penalty area, to the left to Freckleton, who's started every game since he signed for the club. Gogic then to his right to Fraser. Little bobble there, but he gets it forwards looking for Idowu. Kerestege gets to it, ball's out of play. United claiming it's their throw-in. The officials think otherwise. St Mirren take the throw, but picked up there by Aguier, and then Bacchus getting onto it, but couldn't do anything with it. It's a little bit scrappy, to say the least, at the moment, John.
Yeah, it's exactly as you expected. The only thing I will say is Jim's caught us all by surprise with the wing-backs, because Lucas Stevenson's playing wing-back on the opposite side, so he's kind of matched up in the middle with the physicality of his midfield 3 as well. Because you look at the size of Kamara, Ajiu and Sevlej, both playing in the middle, 3 of them playing in the middle. I mean, Stevenson is always playing in the middle, but the physicality of the St Mirren side, you know it's, as we've said before, you know it's going to be a second ball game. I think this is the first time actually MD's passed it 5 or 6, made 5 or 6 passes, but it's all on their own half. But you can see how difficult the pitch is to play on, but you can also see that both teams are matched up.
Yeah, well, I got that bit right. Just got the players in the wrong places. Fata and Farrugia basically swapping about. Kamara doing just enough to get it back to Graham there, midway inside his own half, and out to Yovu right hand side, bringing it up towards the halfway line. Stevenson, as John says, playing on that right hand side. Forward it goes now into the feet of Chevalier, but he's well challenged, and the ball's out of play off Freckleton. United trying to get the ball down. Aguier, recent signing, the Ghanaian. in from the start this evening. He's forced back the way, tries to get the pass forward to Kamara. It's a good one, and he plays a good ball as well for Chevalier to drive forward up towards the St Mirren box, and he looks for Waters. Waters gets a break in the ball, tries the shot, blocked by Fraser. He can only clear as far as Kerestez. He knocks it back the way. That's Ferrugia actually, and then Kamara plays it to the back post. Stevenson will try and make something of it, breaks the way of Emmanuel Aguier now into the box. Chevalier with a chance here, good save up into the air, and it's into his own net from Marcus Fraser. That is an absolute calamity for the St Mirren defender. What on earth was he doing there? It's a really good stop from Jamal George to deny Chevalier, but just as he looked to clear it wide of the post, Marcus Fraser, who's claiming he was pushed, there might have been a slight nudge, but not enough to force him to hit it into the back of his own net, which is exactly what he did. It's Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0.
I actually think he was pushed, Al, but to the beginning with amongst the celebrations, he doesn't put too much a complaint to the referee, but now he is, which seems to me as if he knows it's going to be a soft one. It's good play for Dundee United. They actually play a good combination triangle in the middle of the pitch, and they get the opposite side of the St Mirren midfield. When they get to the opposite side, it's a great pass for Sublege, but you're expecting Max Waters to have a better touch and be able to fire. He comes inside. The second part of it though is great. He keeps it alive, and the Jamal George makes the save. Marcus Fraser is just running in. He just needs to get some sort of contact height, but he, again, right on target, and it's a goal. But that's what happens when Dundee United commit bodies forward. They get a chance and a goal.
There was a lovely pass, Al, right at the start of the move from Kamara. O'Hara went to press him, and he flipped it round the corner first time, and it wiped out St Mirren's midfield completely. And Johns destroyed the rest from there. But Jim Goodwin thought it was potentially a push as well. It's the first action he made was that hand going up and then going and speaking to the fourth official. But goal stands.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a hand on the back. I'm not sure it was ever going to be enough for the goal to be chopped off. And I mean, the check that was made must have been very quick, because the referee has got the game back underway extremely quickly. And here come United again. It's Kamara on the surge. Jamal George out of his goal to clear that one. United pick up once more, run out of play there by Ferrugia, but well, it was a bit contentious at the weekend down in England. There was I think it was Spurs who were feeling hard done by, because there was a little shove in the back when they had a goal scored against them, and they had one chopped off against Arsenal the week before that. But Fraser, I mean, you could see what he's trying to do. He's trying to head the ball wide clearly to get it to safety, and he's just got his angles wrong.
I think he's got there early. It's good defending. He gets there early and gets himself in front of the striker, especially it comes off the goalkeeper. But that nudge, as I said, it's not enough to disallow the goal, but that nudge just puts him off and redirects the ball. But what we talk about being a second ball game, there's one way of taking the second balls out, and that's put the ball in behind teams. And Dundee United just now are putting the ball in behind St Mirren and making them go and face their own goal. And by doing so, they're able to get up the pitch. Rory's saying you go and win second balls. Before the game, he's talking about winning second balls in the opposition's half. That's what Dundee United have done just now, and St Mirren haven't.
St Mirren have it, trying to get themselves back on level terms as quickly as possible, but a dreadful start for them, falling behind in 8 minutes with the Marcus Fraser own goal. And here's Fraser now trying the long diagonal up towards the Adowu. It's well defended. It'll be picked up by Freckleton more or less on the halfway line, just a couple of yards inside the United half. He gets it back from Adowu, out to the left to Tanzer, right on the touchline, slides it forward looking for the run there of Adowu, and Aguier doing enough there to play it off the St Mirren player and out of play. You mentioned the pass from Kamara, Rory, and he is a player on the few times I've seen United this season. He's one who's always stood out for me. I think he looks like a good player.
Yeah, he's athletic. He's got that balance of, I spoke about players who can break the play up, and I also spoke about players who can hit the box and not so much score goals, but he's very athletic. He's a box-to-box player.
Yeah.
You'll see him breaking it up, and you'll see him up the other end playing nice, cute passes. So, yeah, definitely one to watch tonight.
Cleared by George over the halfway line. Aguier can only head it to Tanzer, and back to Freckleton now in the halfway line. He'll clip that up towards the edge of the penalty. Lundulu can't reach it. It's headed away by Kerestez. It's Kamara picking up and then finding Aguier, who plays it forward here for Ferrugia down the left hand side. Just over hit the first touch, and Fraser steps in and does well to play that inside now. And St Mirren can try and come forward, but that doesn't last long, because United have pinched it back. Stevenson for Chevalier now. just over on the right hand side inside the St Mirren half, clips it to the left for Farrugia. Takes a couple of touches, then gets it into the edge of the penalty area. Gogic away up towards Lundulu, and now it'll come for Idowu. Good interception there by Yovu. Trickles out of play just in front of Jim Goodwin, and throw-in goes St Mirren's way. Just a few yards inside the United half, right hand side, just down below us.
It's actually good play from United before that. They make a pass and it gets played in behind the St Mirren defence, and he's able to go and drive, but when he drives, he gets the first touch. I think it's Farrugia gets his first touch out his feet, but it's too far out his feet. But you've got to allow for a bad touch in this surface, because it is bobbly. He's got plenty of space to run into, but he just takes a heavy one, and it's not because he's not got the ability to take it any further. It's just because it's so lively out there.
Here's Bacchus to Tanzer, about midway inside the United half, left hand side into Phillips. Phillips takes a touch, but he's quickly closed down there by Aggie. Both he and Kamara in there, offering that athleticism that Rory was talking about. Plenty of energy, plenty of legs, and they'll need that to match the likes of Phillips. And United get the throw in over on the far side. It's 13 and a half minutes played here at Tannadice. United leading by an early Marcus Fraser own goal to 0.
I read a stat earlier, Al. It's not a great start for St Mirren this. In the last 13 midweek games, how many points do you think they've gathered out of the 39 available?
I mean, I never like stats about, midweek games or.
Just forget it then. Al.
No, but sorry, I didn't mean to poo-poo your stat. I don't like them, because I just kind of think they're generally.
I'm not saying it has a bearing on the game.
I know you're not. Sorry,
but it's a bit of an anomaly, I would suggest.
All right, I'll 3.
You've only went and got it right as well, haven't you?
You read that stat as well, didn't you?
That is quite unbelievable, though.
Is,
I'm not saying that it has a bearing on anything midweek, but it is quite crazy that a team like St Mirren, who've accumulated quite a lot of points over the last couple of seasons, can only get 3 points out of 39 in midweek games.
Yeah, that is somewhat surprising, you would have to say. They've certainly not picked up an awful lot of points on their travels this season. No wins, at least in the last 11 away in the league. 3 draws and 8 defeats since that solitary one away at Falkirk on the 13th of September. And overall they've drawn 4 and lost 9, and 7 points on the road this season. Simply not good enough. United's home form hasn't been great either, so that probably evens that out.
Yeah, when you look at United's home form, I think they've won 3 league games at Tannadice all season, and they're only averaging a goal a game.
Yeah, that's another stat that's simply not good enough as far as a club like United are concerned. Aguier fouling Phillips in the middle of the park, and St Mirren will get the free kick. It's just over the quarter-hour mark, and St Mirren with the free kick, but they trail by a goal to 0. Stephen Robinson out barking instructions as ever, animated as David was describing him. He's a constant ball of energy on the touchline. Jim Goodwin a little bit more placid sometimes. Ball into the Dundee United box, headed away but comes back in. Graham again getting his head to it, returned by O'Hara, flicked on there, might be an opportunity here. Freckleton trying to get it to Idowu, but it's again Graham this time stretching out the left leg to knock it out of play down in the far side for a throw in, and it will invite potentially the long throw here. Bacchus, I think, might fancy his chances of hurling this into the danger area, although Richardson goes and offers himself short. Bacchus waves him away, and he comes from the right hand side into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's glanced on and knocked away by a United body. It's Farrugia who got the clearance. Gogic will return it, but it's straight into the arms of the keeper. An easy take there for Ashley Maynard-Brewer, who's barely touched the ball in these early stages. Good distribution there for Kamara, but Gogic matched him there and wins it back for St Mirren. And now it's Tanzer playing it down the left hand side. Stevenson looks in charge of that situation, and indeed just sees it out a play in tandem there with Yuri Yovu before Idowu could get there, and it's a goal kick to Dundee United. We've played 17 minutes and Dundee United lead by a goal to 0.
I think Lundulu needs to do a little bit more. I wasn't the best in the air when the ball was coming up and getting hoofed up the pitch. However, you know, when Dundee United are clearing the ball, whether it be Ross Graham, Ovu or Carestes, the ball's travelling 15, 16 yards back the way. He needs to get up against them, and he needs to keep the ball and try and retain the ball.
United have done well to keep the ball in over on the left hand side here. Ball into Aggie now, back to Kamara, angle of the box left hand side, just rolls it forward for Farrugia, tries to cut it back. It's Fata with the efforts, half cleared by Tanza, comes to Aggie. Freckleton in the way that time. Chevalier just loops it high in the air. Freckleton again is there. O'Hara can't get it beyond Chevalier. Now it's Stevenson. United looking to keep the pressure on here as Stevenson turns it down the line but can't keep it in play, and it's out for a throw in to St Mirren. Still Dundee United lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, when United are playing forward, they're playing behind the St Mirren defence, which is causing them problems, and then they're able to squeeze up in the middle of the pitch. Agyei in the middle of the pitch, I actually think he's been probably the best player on the pitch so far. He's picking up lots of second balls, but he's actually able to put his foot on the ball, Alan, make a pass. So when you win possession back, it's making sure that you keep the ball after the first pass and then go and build from there. But he's certainly been impressive in the middle of the pitch so far.
Yeah, he's just lying that little bit deeper than the other two. Chevalier actually playing. I always thought that he would be the deepest of the midfielders, but Agyei occupying that sort of holding role with Kamara and Chevalier given a licence to get forward a bit more. Here's St Mirren coming forward. Kerestej under a bit of pressure, but hooks the ball out of play on this near side under pressure from Idowu. St Mirren get the throw in midway inside the United half as they look for an equaliser. 19 minutes in. Richardson here with the throw in into the feet of Idowu. Tightly marked there by Farrugia. Idowu doing well to keep possession. Comes forward down the right hand side. Across comes Agyei and he takes Idowu down there. Well, the assistant referee's given a throw into Dundee United. It felt to me that Idowu was almost fallen upon by the Dundee United man. It should have been a free kick.
Yeah, I thought it was a free kick out. I thought the linesman was right in front of it as well. I don't think he means it. He just kind of collapses onto his leg and brings him down. So I do agree. I think it should have been a foul.
But thrown is the decision. Deep in Dundee United territory here. On their left hand side to be taken by Christian Kerestej. Down the line it goes. Flicked on by Waters. Hooked back towards the United area by O'Hara, but well dealt with by Yovu. It'll be picked up here by Gogic on the halfway line, right hand side. Clips it forward looking for Lundulu, but doesn't
needs
get
to be across there. Lundulu, he needs to help Gogic out. Stevenson
now whipping it forward. Waters on the chase here. Gogic should get there ahead of him. That came off his arm, didn't it? It was accidental perhaps, and the referee not penalising it. He just got his positioning slightly wrong there, Gogic, but gets away with it as St Mirren now come forward on the right hand side and they get the throw in.
The difference so far, Al, is United are trying to play in behind St Mirren. St Mirren are trying to play onto Undulu, and by doing so the Dundee United defenders are actually winning that battle, Rory, and because they're winning the battle, they're able to put the ball right back behind St Mirren and causing problems in that aspect.
Bacchus with a stray header in the middle of the park allows Chevalier to set Stevenson off and running down the right hand side. Back it now comes to Chevalier and infield to Kamara midway inside the St Mirren half, but it comes back to the halfway line to Yovu and then Graham, and then all the way back to Maynard Brewer at the edge of his own penalty area. Takes a couple of moments to decide what he wants to do, then gives it straight back to St Mirren, who in turn give it back to United, and then Yovu knocks it out of play, and it will be a St Mirren throw in over on the far side of it, 15 yards inside their own half on the left hand side. 21 and a half played. Dundee United leading by a Marcus Fraser own goal to nil. Scored after 8 minutes after a good Shamal George save initially to deny Vitsko Chevalier, but well, he could do absolutely nothing as Fraser nodded the rebound into his own net. It's back with Maynard Brewer. Clearance this time right footed over the halfway line, flicked on by Waters. Fata just blocked off pretty cleverly there by Fraser as Gogic picks up, but his clearance is a poor one, and then so too is the pass attempted by Kamara for his teammate Farrugia, and it'll be a St Mirren throw-in, right hand side, midway inside their own half. Gogic just leaves that for Fraser to take. He'll be hoping to make amends for the goal that has put his side behind. Fraser throws it down the right. Lundaloo gets the flick on. Yova gets his head to it. Backestove into the feet of O'Hara. Neat little turn there and tries to help it into the path of Lundaloo. Can he get round Kerestesh here? He's done really well. Lundaloo, can he get it across goal? He tried to, I think, find the narrowest of gaps at the near post, and it's turned behind for the corner where maybe he could have cut it back. I'm not sure, was there any really realistic support coming in? In the end, Lundaloo, who did so well to win it off Kerestesh, he's one inside a corner, might have been more.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke before the game that the back three at Dundee United can look a little bit cumbersome and slow at times, and it proved that there. Lundaloo, I think he does the right thing to shoot out. He's been feeding off scraps, there wasn't many in the box.
Tanser's corner from the right hand side comes off the head of Stevenson, still inside the box. Waters gets something on it. Freckleton will pick up just outside the penalty area over on the left hand side. He'll come all the way back to Jaden Richardson. United holding a deep line though, still at the edge of their own area. Kerestesh gets his head to it above Lundaloo that time, but Idoru's picked up the second ball and drives into the area, and a low ball cut out by Kerestesh at the expense of another corner. St Mirren's best moments in the match so far as they look for an equaliser, 23.5 in.
Yeah, you can hear the home crowd urging the United defence to get out. They're all still in the 18-yard box, even though the ball's been cleared. I think that's what's happened when they've got in front in games recently, where they've seemed to defend really, really low and had to try to have a low block. They need to get out and make sure St Mirren can't get into their box easily.
Another corner kicked in for Tanser to take, right hand side, swings it into the back post. Good fist from Maynard Brewer, takes it all the way out to the right hand side where Kamara will just thump it downfield and gives Waters something to chase. It just holds up in the sand somewhat. Phillips is back there with him. Waters is going to try and take him on. What a burst of pace that is from Waters. Can he find a teammate? Richardson in the way as he tried to square it across the 6-yard box. Good defending in the end, but Waters should have turned the pace there to get away from Phillips. I didn't realise he had. Play going from one end to the other there, but St Mirren preventing the second goal as Fraser now has it. Tries the diagonal, looking for Tanser. Looked like a handball as he controlled it. Gets away with it though. Rolls it back to Freckleton. Midway inside the United half, into the feet of Lundaloo. And it's a good play by Aggie, who just nipped in front of him and dispossesses him, and then Stevenson goes down under pressure from Tanser and buys the free kick. 25 minutes on the clock. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0.
He's had a couple of good moments, Lundaloo. I don't want to be too harsh on him because he is battling away there, but if the ball's on the left hand side of the pitch for St Mirren, he needs to get against the right centre back. He constantly wants to stand on Ross Graham, who's the middle of the three, and when it's out on this right hand side, he needs to get out and try and pin Kerestesh, because at this moment in time they're looking for him, but the two centre backs either side of Graham they've got all the time and space in the world to try and get rid of it.
And see, the one time he does come over onto Kerestesh and the ball gets played into him, he's able to hold him, spin him, and then get the shot away. So you can see that's where the chances are going to come. So you've just got success from being there rather than being against Ross Graham. Come against the middle one, come against the left one, come against Kerestesh and play here for another couple of minutes and see if you can get any more joy out of it.
Yeah.
The tactic you were talking about that St Mirren might benefit from if Fata were playing in that wing back position. Fruja, as we know, is playing in that position instead, but still he's a kind of more of a forward player. But why then have St Mirren not been able to do what you thought they might be able to with that formation?
Because Indaloo is playing against Ross Graham in the middle one. See if he comes into this area, we've just spoke about it. If he comes out onto Kerestesh and they can play it, I think he can actually pin Kerestesh and spin him. And by doing so, he's got so much more space to get into, because as you say, Ferrugia and Fata, no matter what one it is, they're more attack minded on this left hand side, so that space is there. But the other one that you could look at is Idaho could come into this area, Rory, because he's really quick, he's really direct, and he's got this full channel to run into. So it becomes a case of, rather than trying to be pinpoint with your passes and playing into Indaloo, just play in behind and let Idaho run into the area that was ready to run into just now.
There's Kerestesh as the United fans find their voice. The free kick is given to St Mirren though, about 20 yards inside their own half.
Johnny Russell's out for a warm-up, I think it is, Al.
Is that a Johnny Russell song that's ringing around the stadium, is it? Certainly the fans are pleased to see him back.
Did you ever have your own song, Rory?
Yeah, it wasn't quite as nice as that one though.
It was the opposition fans that were singing for Rory. Here's a ball into the box and St Mirren with a chance, and Freckleton swings the right boot at it, and it's wildly over the top. Maybe if that falls to the left foot of Freckleton might have been more advantageous. As it is, he couldn't test the goalkeeper, and it remains 1-0 United after 27.5 minutes. St Mirren have had their moments in the last 5 or 10, just signs that they might be able to get their way back into the game, and as long as it's just a 1-0, they'll certainly feel there is opportunity to do that. But the fact remains they've only scored 22 goals in their 28 games thus far, so clearly goal scoring not their forte just at the moment, as Tanzer sends it high in the air. Lundaloo missed it, but Graham kind of miscues the header. Kerestej there to help him out. Fraser returns it high up in there once more, then Farrugia wins it. Waters can't keep it. Gogic is in there sniping, but it falls to Farrugia on the halfway line. Gogic is rather out of position. Will that cost St Mirren here as Aggie helps it on to Yovu, right hand side, crossing the halfway line. Aggie just sits as Yovu strides forward, then leaves it to Stevenson on that right flank, gets the ball into the box, but Gogic had recovered his position and gets the header clear, and he'll go for the second one as well and wins it. But Aggie picks up once more. He's got a lot of those loose balls, hasn't he? And now it's Kamara to the left hand side for Farrugia, up against Phillips here. Can he find? Oh, he's done well. He's got a yard for the cross now. He stands it up into the middle. Gogic is there first again, and then it's lashed over the crossbar. It was difficult for Chevalier to keep that down. He was quickly being closed down, but a really good play on the left hand side from Farrugia. Just dropped the shoulder and lost Phillips and stood it up nicely, but Gogic, as he often is first to the ball in the air, and eventually comes to nothing for Dundee United, and it's still Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0.
I don't think Killian Phillips will be wanting dragged into the wider area, to be honest with you, Al. That's him been over on the left hand side, and Waters done him for pace, and he's been on the left hand side, and Farrugia has just skipped past him there. So Phillips in the wider area, obviously the 1v1s, he doesn't want to be there, but again, the ball into the box for United, and it causes problems just having to deal with crosses for St Mirren, and that's the first time they've really been up the pitch for any threat since they scored the goal, and they need to get up, because what's happening is St Mirren are beginning to get a little bit of a foothold in the game and begin to play in United's half. They need to continue to squeeze the game and make sure they're getting up the pitch.
Phillips helps it into the right channel there, knocked out of play by Yovu, coming across to the left hand side to knock it out of play. St Mirren throwing a bit more urgency about St Mirren now, although Phillips was threatening to take the quick throw, and in the end they're just going to leave it to Bacchus to come forward. What that means though is that Freckleton will make his way in towards the penalty area. Fraser and Gogic still back, although there's a player going down off the ball there. The referee was looking pretty much right at that. Phillips was the St Mirren player involved. I think, is it? Well, it didn't seem to be too much in that from what I saw.
I seen it as well, right? And this is the bit we're getting to now. See, because of what happened at Motherwell on Saturday, when there's nothing going on and somebody moves an arm high, and then there's somebody hits the ground, and all of a sudden VAR's attention's drawn to it, and there's somebody getting sent off, or there's a penalty, or there's a booking.
It's Aggie who's now back on his feet. He's been brought to the referee along with Phillips.
Phillips lifts his arm, but there's nothing to get sent off with. It's just contact.
It's a slight touch, isn't there, from what I could see at least.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, listen, I didn't catch it. I was looking down at Bacchus there, coming to take the long throw in, but looks like it's been waved on anyway.
I think it's pretty sensible refereeing. It's just a word in the ear of both players, and then get on with it as Bacchus prepares to take this long throw in from the right hand side, about 20 yards from the corner flag, and it comes from the Australian midfielder, attacked well by Farrugia. He's had a good game in that left wing back position actually. Gogic returns it into the box, comes off the back of Stevenson. I think he's pretty fortunate to get a free kick for that. I'm not sure there was all that much contact between the St Mirren player and him, and Mark O'Hara's asking what on earth the free kick's being given for, and quite honestly I'm not sure. Stevenson just seemed to duck under it, and the free kick goes Dundee United's way. We've played almost 32 minutes, and it's the home side who lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, that was a bit bizarre, and it was quite clearly about 10 yards further back from where it's been taken, but I also don't think Keanu Bacchus has got as long a throw as he thinks he does, because he's tried to sling it in twice. They've filled the box, and it's been Farrugia right at the front post both times, who just quite simply came and headed it away.
Maybe they filled the ball with sand like they have with the pitch.
Gogic is one of the others who's got a good long throw in him, but It has been Keanu Bacchus who's been on long throw duty so far. It's a throw into St Mirren over on the left hand side. No one's in the last 4 St Mirren since that victory over Airdrie in the Scottish Cup. A rather rash clearance from Kerestej there just at the edge of his own box, and he knocks it out for a throw in here down the near side to St Mirren. Quickly taken that time, and it's Richardson gets it back, trying to hit the byline, trying to get it across goal, but he's hit the side netting. It's a poor attempt really at a cross in the end from the wing back, and harmlessly behind the United goal. Haven't won since they beat Hearts in the league, and that, as the guys mentioned earlier, it's their only win in 12 in the Premiership, which is why they are very much in the mire down.
Conceding a lot of goals recently, Al.
Yeah, and well, Kilmarnock for one will be hoping the scoreline stays as it is just now, and at least that St Mirren don't pick up the victory or indeed anything from the game, and that would leave them just 3 behind St Mirren with the same amount of games played, 29. Free kick St Mirren just inside their own half, but Shamal George has come a long way out to take this one, and that allows them to throw an extra body or two forward. Here he is clipping it up towards the edge of the penalty area, flicked on into the box, but Kerestej will get to it first and thumps it back to the halfway line. Gogic returns it, flicked on, but it'll go all the way through to Ashley Maynard Brewer, who dives on it and then bowls it out over arm to the left hand side to Farrugia. Into Aguier, plays it forward, but not to a teammate, but Gogic is giving it straight to Chevalier. Now it's Farrugia left hand side into Aguier for Chevalier now. Bacchus trying to get back at him, but the Croatian drives forward to the edge of the box. Good stop though from Alex Gogic, just stood firm and put out the right boot to stop him in his tracks. But United have it once more, played into the feet of Chevalier, who leaves it out to the right hand side for Aguier. Aguier with a short ball to Kamara, into the feet of Chevalier once more. Poor pass from him. Stevenson wanted it to feet, he played it a yard or two ahead of him and out for a throw and over on the far side. Just about 10 to the interval. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland on this Tuesday evening. St Mirren away to Dundee United and trailing to their hosts by a Marcus Fraser goal to nil. We've got Aberdeen Celtic live for you tomorrow night, another massive game. Will Celtic feel the benefit of that late point they salvaged at Ibrox on Sunday, and get another much needed 3 points on the road if they are to try and claw back Hearts' advantage at the top. It's played forward by Freckleton. Jovu gets his head to offside, flags up, and United will have a free kick deep in their own territory.
I mean, St Mirren have been extreme. I know Stephen Robinson doesn't like this, but they've been extremely direct because of the pitch. I think Dundee United have seen the rewards, and they've had a bit of territory from doing that, St Mirren, in the last kind of 10-15 minutes, but Dundee United have been far braver on the ball in terms of, yes, the pitch isn't good, but we're going to make the effort to try and get the ball down and work the ball wide to get it into positions, and I think they've seen the fruits of that labour because they've been able to get balls into the box and create a few chances, whereas it's a bit aimless, it's a bit hit and hope from St Mirren in my opinion. I think Dundee United have shown a little bit more on the ball.
It's not all the time they're choosing to play either, Rory. It's just occasionally somebody's got a chance to put their foot in the ball. Usually Aguier in the middle, he's got his chance to put his foot in the ball, and he does that, and they just make a couple of passes after it, which is good to see. But at the same time, they're able to play through St Mirren. But the other part being, I know St Mirren are going direct, but they're not holding it in. The front two's not holding it in, it's just coming straight back.
It's quite aimless as well.
Kerestej clips it down the left hand side for Farrugia, challenged by Richardson. Farrugia's twisted away from him, but Richardson able to recover only for a moment as Fata picked up, but he's dispossessed by Fraser, who feeds it into the feet of Lundeloo. He's been held there by Kerestej, takes the free kick quickly. Bacchus plays it forwards, headed away by Graham and picked up by Farrugia, and now Aguier. Farrugia once more, he's lost it to Lundeloo. Here he is, the big striker. Now Idowu plays it forward, but he's asking far too much there of Lundeloo, and it just rolls down the slope and out for a United goal kick.
I don't know if you could hear Stephen Robinson, but he's shouting, put the ball in there. But when Indaloo wins the foul there, and it's on the halfway line, and he's got his body in between the defender and the ball, holds it in, buys the foul, and then you're expecting the St Mirren bodies to get in the box and play the ball. It takes a quick free kick, and it's only him in that half. It's poor decision making, especially when you look at the surface. He's got one body in support. That's the time where you get everyone in the box and you put the ball in the box. So that Stephen Robinson's not happy with it, as you can expect.
Yeah, just anxious to try and get things going, Lindley, wasn't he? But as you say, it was the wrong decision. Flicked on there by Dowu, but Graham clears it over the halfway line. Gogic returns it. That's not the first time he's done that. Chevalier gets up above Phillips, breaks in the middle of the park for Kamara, but Phillips is in to rob him. Lindeloo with a flick there when perhaps he should have brought it under control. United's clearance has fallen to Fraser. Fraser drives up to the edge of the area, angle of the box, into not bad area. Mark O'Hara with a chance, wide on the left foot from the angle of the 6-yard box. Not sure, didn't look like it missed by much, but it flies into the United fans behind Ashley Maynard Brewer's goal. That was St Mirren's best opportunity of the game so far, but it does remain Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0 with 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
Jim will be furious. The Dundee United defender steps out and plays a relatively square pass. Marcus Fraser pounces on it straight away and puts a ball into the box. And as we're speaking about before, Rory touched on it, midfielders that can hit the box and try and add goals to the St Mirren midfield. O'Hara takes his touches, great composure, allows it to sit up, doesn't hit it too high, allows it to come down, and as soon as it comes down he connects with it. His connection's clean, but it's not on target. That's really disappointing for Mark O'Hara, because he'll be desperate for a chance like that before the game starts tonight, and he's got one in the plate.
Yeah, it looked like it went pretty close, but they're not close enough as far as St Mirren are concerned. They've got a free kick here midway inside their own half to be taken again by their goalkeeper Shamal George, who's been beaten once tonight by his own defender Marcus Fraser. That's the only goal in the game thus far. Here's the free kick taken by George up towards the edge of the box, well won by Graham, returned by Bacchus again. Graham will go up and win it. In comes Bacchus into the back there of Kamara. Well, I was going to say no free kick, but the referee took a second or two and then points for the free kick to Dundee United, about 10 yards outside their own penalty area, and the pressure eased. But St Mirren certainly not out of this game as we approach half time.
Bacchus was slightly frustrated there because he did have the opportunity to bring the ball down, but in light of what Stephen Robinson was saying just before, just get it in the box, he just felt the need to kind of hook the volley back in. Ultimately that frustration has led to him committing the foul.
Gogic wins the header from the Ashley Maynard Brewer clearance. Then Aggie helps it on. Waters into the feet of Fata, crowded out there. Bacchus emerges with possession, pokes it forward. Aggie in the way. Waters then knocks it on. It's one for Farrugia to chase. He's inside the box and he's taking a heavy touch, which takes him behind along with the ball. St Mirren fans behind that goal, I think, were claiming for a handball just prior to that, which didn't come their way. But fortunately for them, Farrugia just overrun it on there. And now Lindeloo's just come together with Kerristage, and he's fallen to the ground. And again, the referee is going to have a word. I didn't really catch. I was out of the corner of my eye, that one, but it didn't really feel to me like there was much in it. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Our game's beginning to go soft. Everyone hitting the deck just when there's any contact. That was never the case. Never the case. Whereas now you've got Matthew McDermott's having to slow the game down, speak to the two of them. There's nothing in it. I just think
your own team would be telling you to get up. Never mind the opposition.
100%. 100%.
Well, again, it's just a ticking off for both players, but Kerristage and Lindeloo continue to argue the toss, but play will be resumed here by Shamal George's goal kick. Over the halfway line it comes, flicked on by O'Hara. Chevalier gets his head to it, looking for Stevenson, but it comes instead to Tanzer. O'Hara with his back to goal and under pressure from Chevalier, back to Tanzer once more, left hand side, flips it forward aimlessly. Yovu's there, he plays it forward, flicked on by Chevalier. United trying to come down the right hand side. Stevenson can't keep it in play though.
I think United's midfield threes get deeper as the games went on. They score the goal, which is great, and they're up against the play and they're ready to go and press, but they seem to be getting deeper. Is it because they're protecting the lead and they're not content protecting the lead here at Tannadice? We know they've only won 3 home games in the league all season, but is that the case just now, where the nerves are kicking in just before half time? They're that desperate to get in with a 1-0 lead?
Possibly. Only Livingston have won fewer games at home this season than United. I'm not sure what that cry from the crowd was about. Didn't see anything awry myself, but St Mirren pick up here through Phillips, about 30 yards from goal. He's going to go for goal, but he didn't catch it, and it's well wide in the end from Phillips, and it wouldn't really have tested the keeper, I don't think, even if it had been on target. It was a low trundler almost from Killian Phillips, and it remains with just a couple of minutes left in this first period plus any stoppage time. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0. Maynard Brewer preparing to take the goal kick. The win v Falkirk away from home is their only one in the last 8 in the Premiership, which is only marginally better than St Mirren's own record. 2 draws and 5 defeats in that run for Jim Goodwin's side, but they're leading here as we approach the interval. St Mirren trying to work it forward. Tanzer plays it off a United player there and gets the throw in pretty much on the halfway line, left hand side. Half time almost upon us. The 4th official down there preparing to show the board for added on time. Might be a couple of minutes, a couple of stoppages, as Dawu now finds Lundaloo, left hand side. Graham with him. Lundaloo almost at the byline, plays it off. Graham pretty sensibly, and buys the corner for his side, and an opportunity here for them to draw themselves level before the half-time break.
I was quite critical of Lundaloo earlier on in the game, but he's starting to hold the ball in now. He's starting to recognise where he's getting his joy, and it is the 2 outside centre backs, and then when he does win it, it draws Ross Graham out as well. He does well to block the cross, but if it does make it into the box, Ross Graham's not there to defend it.
O'Hara from the left hand side, then right footed, curls it into the 6-yard box. Well won by Keristej, and Fata helps it on, and United can try and counter here. Bacchus stops him only momentarily as Waters helps it to Kamara, right hand side. Waters is flying into the box, he's gone offside. Kamara will have to hold it up now, looking for other support. St Mirren have got bodies back, but the shot comes in and it's tipped over the top from Jamal George, and now United have a corner.
It's great play from Kamara. The ball gets cleared, comes into Waters, he holds it, plays Kamara runs. Waters then hits the box. He's got on a race, it's a foot race. We've seen how quick he was earlier when he dragged Phillips into the wider area, but Kamara's got to deliver at that point, right in behind the defence, and allow him to go and finish. But he checks, and then as soon as he checks, he has to then have a shot. There's nothing else he can do, but I think George can catch it.
Aye, definitely can catch it. You pointed out after St Mirren's first corner that they were leaving them 1v1 up the pitch, and that's the second time they've broken from the corners in the 1v1 that you'd pointed out, John.
Into the 1 minute of added on time here, United with a chance to double their advantage before the interval, and it comes from the right hand side. St Mirren managed to get it clear. Bacchus just thumps it over the halfway line. That'll pretty much be that for the first period as it bounces out of play. Stevenson in no great rush to keep it in there, and it will be United taking the 1-goal advantage in at the interval. It's given to them just 8 minutes on the clock by Marcus Fraser own goal, but still all to play for as Matthew McDermott blows his half-time whistle. That goal, as I mentioned, coming in 8 minutes. A Chevalier shot saved well by Jamal George, but Fraser, as he tried to tidy up by heading behind for a corner, got his angles wrong and headed straight into his own net. There was a little bit of contact on his back as he did so, but not enough to disallow the goal. St Mirren, to be fair, have edged their way back into the game. Lundaloo had a shot from a very tight angle, turned behind by Ashley Maynard Brewer, and then just a few minutes ago Marcus Fraser diagonal found Mark O'Hara, who controlled well. The shot was on for him, but he fired just wide of the left hand post, and then just before the break there, Pan Kamara with an effort from the edge of the box that had to be tipped over. United haven't really threatened Jamal George all that much since going ahead. Still very much in the mix this game. But at half-time at Tannadice, it's Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland. Six Nations.
18 and a half minutes of this game left to play, and it's now in the melting pot. It's still with the Scots. It's still with the Scots. Yes! Up and over! Scotland have the bonus point score. They'll take the lead in the contest.
After a spirited second-half fight-back earned a win against Wales, Scotland's hopes of Six Nations glory are still alive. Scotland versus France, live from Murrayfield in the Six Nations Championship. Listen Saturday afternoon from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland Extra and Sounds. We're ready to go.
Many thanks to Al Lamont. He will be ready to go with the second half commentary here from Tannadice of Dundee United versus St Mirren. At half time, it's Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0. I'll just run you through some other scores, latest scores, and indeed one result, and that comes for the Scottish women's national team in the World Cup qualifiers. They are away to Luxembourg, or were away to Luxembourg in the opening match. They're a handsome win for the Scots, 5-0 winners against Luxembourg. Elsewhere tonight in the Scottish Championship, Arbroath at home to Ayr United. It's 0-0 in that one. Dunfermline against Ross County, 2-0 to the home side there. The Pars to up Morrison with both goals. In Scottish League 1, Montrose 1, Kelty Hearts 0. That's half time. 37 minutes played in the game between Hamilton and Stenhousemuir. No scoring there. And in League 2, it's the Spartans 1, Stirling Albion 0 at half time. But more pertinent to us here at Tannadice is the scoreline here. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0. John Rankin, a wee bit more entertaining certainly than last week's offering at Tannadice, and maybe a wee bit more entertaining than we might have expected.
Yeah, I actually think United have tried to play it at times. They've tried to play it at the right times. I think they've been caught once, a square pass, and Marcus Fraser pounced on it, and ultimately it gave them the Mark O'Hara the chance. But it has been entertaining. I think there's been incidents in the wide areas for United, especially when they could just maybe take a little bit longer and compose themselves and put in a better cross rather than maybe try and pick someone out rather than just forcing it. But I think United, when they got their lead, they've defended slightly deeper than what Jim would like and what they would hope, and it's allowed St Mirren to get a bit of a hold into the game. It's a pretty even game, but again, it's not. I think Rory mentioned it earlier, it was going to be horrible. I think it's been horrible at times, but other times there's been a little bit of quality on show.
It's not been as horrible as last week. You can.
I think you put the question to me that Stephen Robinson had said it would be a horrible game. Right, yeah. I said it had the potential to be, but what I did say was if both teams were competitive, had the right attitude and application towards the game, then it could make for an entertaining game, and it has done. St Mirren have been direct. Again, I'll say it, I know Stephen Robinson doesn't like that tag, but based on tonight, and I know the pitch was playing a part, they have been more direct than Dundee United, and it has led to some opportunities, just not as clear cut as some of the Dundee United chances and opportunities that they've created, whilst they've not had them in bucket loads. For me, I agree with John. I think they've played the better football. Any chances they have created, they've managed to get it from one side into their midfield player, across the pitch, out the other side, and that's led to opportunities to get the ball into the box, and that's the moments when John's saying maybe a little bit more care, a little bit more thinking, and a little bit more thought into how you get the ball into the box in a more productive way. So I think Dundee United have just edged it.
Good value for their 1-0 lead.
I don't know if they've created enough chances for that to be the case, is what I would say, but they've been the slightly better team in my opinion. No, they have. They've been the better team, actually. That's probably unfair. I would like to see the own goal back again, though. For me, it looked really quite avoidable, but I might be proven wrong when I see that back.
Yeah, let's talk about the goal then, John, because I think you're saying there was a nudge. I think surely if there's a nudge and it puts him off and he puts the ball in his own net, it should be a free kick.
No, it's not. I don't think it's enough.
Getting skilled at by Al Lamont here.
I think in
that curmudgeonly way that he is so masterful at.
Yeah, I think listen, we're looking at it, and it's good forward play for me. He's following in. It's also good defensive play for Marcus Fraser, because he reacts first and he's there to clear it. But he has to be a little bit stronger. Or what we're seeing just now in especially the English Premiership, players making more of a meal of it. But the Dundee United striker follows it in. I think it's Waters that hits the shot and Savledge that follows in, and as he follows in, it's just a nudge in his back, not enough for it to be a foul, but it's a nudge.
If it puts him off, surely
it puts him off, yeah.
Oh, is that not a free
kick?
kick?
To sell in front. No, I don't think it is. I think it's the contact in the game where you have to be able to use your body at times, and you have to be able to, it's been streetwise and just giving a wee nudge and hoping it goes in the net, and it did. Marcus Fraser will be disappointed because he's got there first. What he then needs to do is make sure he's got enough contact or be stronger. But it's alright saying be stronger, but see when your 2 feet are off the ground and you're trying to jump to header it, there's no way you can actually use your strength because you've not got anything to push off of.
I'm being devil's advocate there because I didn't actually see the push that you're alleging. I just saw Marcus Fraser rising to head it, and I thought, right, he's heading that out.
Yeah, I thought
out for a corner. I didn't see any danger at all.
I thought he was going to direct it. I mean, there's no way the push, if we're calling it that, was strong enough for it to warrant a free kick and the goal being chalked off. I also don't think it's enough for Marcus Fraser to fall into the ball with his head and head it in his own goal. I think he's got to angle his neck and just get it out for a corner. But again, we might be being harsh. We get one look at it, there's no replays, so we'll need to see it back again. But I think it took Marcus Fraser by surprise, and I think his reaction was, no one likes scoring an own goal, but one of kind of shock and surprise, and his teammates looked as if to say, how on earth has that managed to get in the back of the net? So as I say, we'll see it again, but it's a really disappointing and poor goal for St Mirren to lose.
Great start for Dundee United, 8 minutes on the clock, they go a goal up.
Brilliant start. When you look at the way they played, I think there's actually a better chance. I think Max Waters takes it out his feet and shoots and makes the goalkeeper make a save. But as soon as Jamal Jaws makes a save, that's where it comes from. But see, after that, David, they start the game well, they go 8 minutes and they're on the attack, and right front footed, they want to go and play forward, they want to play in behind St Mirren. I feel as if after that they've kind of stopped doing it by putting the ball right in behind and allowing the two to get up. And St Mirren, for me, have had the best 2 chances in the game. St Mirren have had the best 2 chances in the game. Indaloo possibly could have cut it back, but he's got to shoot because I don't think there's enough support in the box.
I thought maybe he was cutting it across
and just miss hit it.
Well, I'm not sure.
But when the goalkeeper makes a save, but then O'Hara for me's got the best chance when it comes back, having that time in the box, and you'd expect him to score. So although United are in front and they're shading it, St Mirren have the best 2 chances in the game, but only because both those chances have came from Dundee United's slack play, have been caught in possession, and it's coming down this left hand side that we touched on before, because they don't have a natural wing back. Ferrugia has been asked to play there rather than Fata, and as soon as they're having to defend in that area, Carestes doesn't want to come out, so there's more space opening up, and when the ball gets played in the box, you can't have Mark O'Hara being able to take a touch and allow the ball to come down. So that would be my worry if I'm Dundee United. But at the same time, they've got themselves in front. Previously here at Tannadice, when they've got themselves in front, they've sat deeper and deeper and deeper and allowed the opponent to come into the game. They can't do that tonight. This is a big game for Dundee United. They have to come out in the second half and continue to attack down the hill, and you might even see Johnny Russell coming on and lifting it just to take that defensive responsibility away from them and continue to pose a threat going forward.
Big game for Dundee United. It was a bigger game for St Mirren, Rory, and records will show that when St Mirren go behind this season, when they go a goal down, they tend not to come back into it. I think they've picked up 1 point from when they're a goal down.
Yeah, I mean, it's more important in terms of safety within this league for St Mirren, but the pitch does make it very, very difficult to try and get any sort of game plan in place and do it consistently. So I think St Mirren will persist with the more direct route, but there needs to be a little bit more thought behind it, whether that's hitting the channels. And it used to frustrate the life out of me if I was a striker and I wanted to run into a channel. I used to always say, overhit it. You know, I'll get there because my timing should be good, and if it's not good, then it's my fault. Don't underhit it, because sometimes the ball's going up and Ross Graham, Ovu, whoever it may be, they're heading it 20 yards back the way.
So it's not the actual plan, as it were, it's the execution of the plan.
Well, I don't know whether that was the plan or not. It's what I would do in this second half, is try and pull, as John's saying, the 2 outside centre backs into wider positions, open it up, and then if you have got O'Hara or Phillips hitting the box, you know, you're almost outnumbering Dundee United at that point if their midfield players aren't tracking back. So for me, a lot of the direct balls have been long, but they've been central. And when the 2 centre backs tuck in with Ross Graham, it's just meat and drink.
But it's the other thing being for me, right, the ball's going forward into Indaloo. Then if Indaloo's going to flick it on, Idaho either has to run in behind for the flick on, or if Undle is going to hold it in, Idaho has to come across the front of him to be able to link the play. But they're not working as a pair, so they're not able to get up the pitch.
Information has reached me that Jake Young will be coming on for St Mirren in the second half. I'm not sure who he'll be replacing, but would you expect the Dowu to be making way for him?
That would make more sense, because I think you still need that physical presence up there. It's not really a game for Uduwu. Uduwu's a good watch. He's technically very good and he's skillful, but I just don't know if it's the right dynamic in this game with the conditions for that to come to the fore. So for me, if Jake Young's coming on, I would expect it to be for Uduwu. I'm not surprised.
You wouldn't foresee a change in formation?
No, I wouldn't. But I think he's tried that against Motherwell. We all know how that ended. So I don't think so, unless it's just small tweaks. But I'm not surprised. We've touched a number of times on how wasteful the front two have been and how much they've stopped St Mirren getting up the pitch at times. Lundulu started to come into the game towards the end of the half, but it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing a change up the top end of the pitch.
I think St Mirren might be a wee bit less direct second half, John. I think maybe they're
no.
Maybe.
No, I can only see it being more direct. I can, and by that I'm
when the ball's going to the defenders, they're not even putting a foot on it, they're just launching it straight away.
But the thing being, David, it's getting launched, but it's not going behind the Dundee United defenders. Whereas I think Young coming on, he's got more. It looks as if he's got a bit more energy and a bit more enthusiasm to be able to go and run the channels into the wider area rather than being more central like the other two are. So if he's going to run the channels into the wider area, he's going to drag the back three, as Rory says, especially the outside centre backs. So the outside centre back's going to get dragged into those areas. I think that's what St Mirren will try and do, and it's not been disrespectful to how they're playing, because Undulu holds it in and manages to get a foul and he takes a quick one. But you hear Stephen Robinson saying, give him a chance, put it in there. He wants the ball in the box, he wants to make Dundee United defend the box. That's one thing I don't think St Mirren have done enough of. Even when it comes to a set play, that I think the delivery into the box hasn't been exactly the way he would want it. And the longer the game goes, I think you'll see Dundee United having to defend lots of balls coming into the box, because I see that's the way the game's going to go for me.
I think Dundee United will soak up a wee bit of pressure. Would they be happy to do that, or do they take the game to St Mirren a wee bit more second 45?
Well, I don't think you can afford to come out with a 1-0 lead and sit back and rest on your laurels straight away, because it's only 1-0, and Dundee United are capable, with the way they played, of creating more chances and scoring another goal. So it's a long 45 minutes. It's not enjoyable either as a player. See if you come out and have that attitude, or for the manager, if you come out and go, it's 1-0, we'll sit a little bit deeper, we'll soak up the pressure, we'll let them punt the balls forward, we'll deal with them. That's not enjoyable. And I know there's ways of winning games, but I don't think Dundee United need to do that. I think they've shown enough within the game that they can get the ball down and play. So I expect Dundee, with 20 minutes to go, if it gets to that stage, it's still 1-0. You may see that dynamic start to come into the game. But to start with, I fully expect both teams to be going hell for leather to try and get another goal.
Hell for leather, John, second half. Sounds interesting. Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't know if that's how it will go. I think, judging by the two of them, and I'm going off Dundee United playing against Kilmarnock here, when it gets into the last 10-15 minutes of the game, when they do go really, really deep, and Kilmarnock get the goal in the last minute to make it a draw.
A wee habit of losing late goals, haven't they?
Yeah, they have got a habit of it, and that seeps through everyone. It seeps through the team. That's not what they're looking for. So they have to be more attack minded and try and go and get a second. I think if they get a second goal, it'll kill it, because I don't see St Mirren scoring two. But what Dundee United have to do is come out and start the second half exactly the same way they started the first.
Yeah, St Mirren just the one away win all season, Rory, so that won't instill confidence in maybe not even the team, but certainly in supporters.
No, potentially not. We know Al doesn't like these stats though, so
give me that midweek one again, would you, Rory?
3 points from the last 39 available midweek. There you go.
What have you got to say about that, Lamont? Nothing. Carry on eating your apple. The rest of us are eating pies. Al's on his apple. But second 45, what lies ahead, John?
What lies ahead? I'd love to see Dundee United come out and being really forceful and playing forward and desperate to go and get the second goal and kill the game. Whether that happens or not, I'm not 100% sure, but you see Jake Young coming on just now.
I think it is a do.
Yeah, it has to be, and he has to run channels, because I look at Indaloo and he's one that wants to stay through the middle, so it has to be someone that's going to work the wider area, and that's what Jake Young will do.
Right, we're nearly off, so it's Al's finished his apple, he's refreshed, so I'll hand you over to him for the second half.
Thanks, David. I haven't quite managed to finish it, but I'll keep it for full time. as Dundee United prepare to get us back underway. Amar Fatah inside the centre circle. United now going from left to right as we look at it from high atop the main stand here at Tannadice, and it's all the way back to Ashley Maynard-Brewer, who fires it forward. As the guys are saying, Jake Young is on for the second half to replace Roland Idowu in the only half-time change. He will just occupy that place up front where Idowu was, and there he is playing it forward, and Graham has to scurry back to play it back to Maynard-Brewer, who launches it first time over the halfway line. Goggins gets his head to it, so does O'Hara. Then United return it. Bacchus picks up and plays it back to Freckleton. Freckleton forward for Lundaloo with his back to goal midway inside the United half. Back to Tanzer and then forward for Phillips, who's wiped out there by Aggie out in this left-hand touchline. The referee's going to his pocket, and that'll be a yellow card for Emmanuel Aggie, who was just too eager to go and try and win the ball there, and Phillips able to hold him off and take the challenge, and St Mirren get the free kick in a decent area, just a yard or two in from the left touchline here, midway inside the United half, and an early opportunity in this second period for St Mirren to level things up. Tanzer it is who's over it. Phillips is standing several yards offside in an attempt to try and just flummox the United back line there, who are holding their line just in the 18-yard box. Tanzer lifts the arm, Phillips runs back the way, Tanzer delivers, comes all the way through, that's a goal! There is his substitute, Jake Young, with more or less his first touch. It fell kindly for him, about 16 yards out, and he caught it sweetly with the right foot and whacked it past Ashley Maynard-Brewer. What a start to the second half for St Mirren, what an impact from the substitute. It is Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, well, Jake Young comes on and does what Mark O'Hara couldn't quite do in the first half. He cuts across the ball, almost puts a little bit of slice on it, and it flies into the top bin. What a start from St Mirren. They've matched Dundee United's early goal, but this time in the second half to tie the game at one each.
The cross from Tanzer, initially, as soon as the free kick gets taken, I'm thinking, oh, what a poor cross. Stephen Robinson, it's a pet hate. You've got a cross in the wider area and you don't put a good ball in. It's not a good ball, it's not behind the defence, it's right in front of them, and he steps into it, puts it right in the top corner. It's a great start to the second half for St Mirren.
First goal in St Mirren colours for Jake Young, and only on the park 2 minutes. It's not quite his first touch. He had poked the ball forward earlier on, but as good a second touch as you're likely to see as he hammered it beyond the goalkeeper, and St Mirren find themselves all square right at the outset of this second half. Let's see how that changes things as the half goes on. You got a red card on his first start against Dundee. Well, he has scored his first goal against Dundee United to bring his new side level, signed from League One Stevenage in January, and that's as big an impact as he's made thus far. Here come United looking to respond, and it comes to the edge of the area, and it's Fatah trying to find a way around a couple of players to get a shot off eventually, and just knocks it back for Stevenson, who plays it in, half cleared by the St Mirren back line, and now they've got it all the way up towards the halfway line, and Lundaloo picks up, and they're playing with renewed energy and vigour, are St Mirren, and Jake Young chests the ball down, holds off Graham, plays it back to O'Hara, who helps it forward. It's a poor ball from the captain, and Aggie is caught there by Phillips. They're having a running battle. The United fans, I think, want the yellow card to be reciprocated for Phillips here, but it's not forthcoming. The free kick is taken. Tanzer's trying to see it out. That came off Tanzer, and yes, it is a corner kick to Dundee United. Tanzer just unable to see that out of play for the goal kick. Came off his thigh, and good pressure from Stevenson, and it will be a corner here for United. Lively start to the second half. St Mirren have got the equaliser, but United have a corner here to try and get their noses back in front. It'll be taken on this left hand side by Neil Farrugia as he prepares to swing this one in, left footed. There'll be the in swinger here from the wing back all the way to the back post, and nodded behind again by O'Hara, who was unsure who was around about him, and he couldn't take any chances. So a corner this time on the left hand side, which Fata will go across and take. One apiece here in the early part of the second half at Tannadice. St Mirren with that equalising goal through Jake Young. Here's Fata with a right foot from the left hand side into the edge of the 6-yard box, glance towards goal, and that should have hit the target, but it's wide from Ross Graham. He got plenty on the header, maybe too much almost. Just need more of a glancing touch than the straight header really that took it a foot or so past the post, and it remains Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1.
Not sure who was marking him, but he had a big chunk of his shirt there, taking a bit of a risk there. Ross Graham gets there, just puts it wide. So dominant in the air, Ross Graham.
They all start at the back. The United players are all starting at the back, but Perugia seems to be in 6-7 yards of space beyond that, because St Mirren are marking zonally as well. Just overhit and see if they can get a wee bit of luck with someone getting a free header at the back, but Ross Graham gets a free header at the front.
Yeah, he scored a few recently and then found himself out of the team for a couple of games, but back in tonight, and arguably should have done better with that one. Here's St Mirren coming forward now. Bacchus at the corner flag, right hand side, but he just missed kicks there, losing his footing perhaps, didn't help him, and it's behind for the goal kick for Dundee United. But St Mirren have come straight out of the traps, and the draw is not really a massive help to either of these sides.
Do you see Johnny Russell coming on in terms of how Dundee United are playing at the moment? John, he's out warming up again, so where would you see him impacting the game? As a striker, as a wide man, as a wing back even?
No, I can only see Johnny playing through the middle now. He liked a target man to play with. For me, Johnny was always up with John Daly, someone big, strong, able to hold the ball in and let him go and run off of. So if there's anyone that would be Waters, he would go and play off of him. But I think Fata's actually a danger. But you need to try and find a way of keeping him in the pitch, so you might actually find United flipping the system and going with the 2 10s, taking off one of the midfielders and see if they can get bodies round about Waters. But I think Johnny's got a big part to play tonight, and 1, lifting the crowd, and 2, lifting the players, and then seeing if what he can go and bring to the game.
It's a clever ball from Chevalier, yeah, picked up here by Farrugia. Kamara's gone further left than he is, and here he is now. Kamara plays it square now to Chevalier once more, midway inside the St Mirren half, out to Stevenson, right hand side again. Dundee United playing some decent football on a dreadful surface. Stevenson onto the left foot, into the area it comes, knocked half clear, but picked up by Aggie, who gets it to Kamara to his left hand side. He might have taken a shot on there. Farrugia gets it back. Now Kamara will take the shot on, and he'll wish he hadn't. I'm not sure how on earth he caught that in the way he did to take it where it went. It went a good 15 yards wide of target, and Kamara won't want to see that one back. He could have had the shot just prior to that. Instead he laid it to his left hand side, and it really wasn't on for Farrugia, who put it back into his path. But the end effort was a poor one from Kamara. So it's still, after 53 minutes, Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1.
Jim Goodwin's seen the funny side. He was chuckling away and smiling with his staff, but it was actually a shame, because it was a really good move by Dundee United. They manipulated the ball well from side to side, created the opening.
Yeah, they did. And here they come again. It's Aguirre, who has been lively in that midfield area, feeding it forward down the channel. Waters will go and try and make something of it, but Freckleton's there before him. Phillips with a nice touch back for Bacchus. Bacchus tries to help it forward. Not sure Bacchus is quite yet up to full match sharpness, which is understandable when you've missed as much football as he has, but it probably hasn't been his best evening. But then again, the surface is a pretty unforgiving one for midfield players out there. Balls quite often just sailing over their heads, as United get the throw in over on the left hand side, midway inside the St Mirren half. Farrugia gets it back from Kamara, and down has gone Bacchus in a collision with Kamara. Play is allowed to continue. Kamara picks up, but can't keep the ball in play, and St Mirren will get the throw in. I'm surprised the referee let play continue there, as Kamara almost seemed to be acknowledging that he'd knocked Bacchus to the ground. Well, Bacchus is saying he threw an elbow. I didn't see that for sure, but it did seem to me that Kamara was acknowledging that he had caught him in some shape or form. The referee let play continue. Fortunately for St Mirren, it didn't come into anything dangerous.
He's telling him to hold here. I think VAR may be checking this. He's putting his hand up to the thrower.
Yeah, I think
going to need 11 pundits at a time on these games at the moment to keep an eye on every player, because every 5 minutes somebody seems to go down with a flailing arm.
Yeah, well, John Beaton's on VAR duty, having been involved in a big VAR call as the match referee on Sunday at Ibrox. Play is going to continue with no further action required. The throw-in is taken then by St Mirren down the right hand side, helped forward by Richardson. Lundaloo flicks it on and then will go and chase his own flick, but Graham just hooks it over his shoulder high up in the air. Kerestej knocks it out of play over on the far side. St Mirren throw-in. We've played just over 10 minutes of this second period. Is that another player going down off the ball there? Jake Young this time quickly springs back to his feet, but that doesn't mean the referee's not going to. In fact, you know what he's doing? He's calling the two captains to him. He's calling Ross Graham and Mark O'Hara in, and I think he's saying, look, you need to just have a word with your players here. Just get them to cut out this off the ball nonsense and fall into the deck every few minutes for very little.
Good on him. I think that needed to be said, Dal.
I mean, I'm guessing that's the kind of the message there from Matthew McDermott. I can't think why else he would call the captains when that's been. They certainly weren't involved in that most recent incident. The throw-in is taken, but United have picked up, and it's Visco Chevalier feeding it forward. It's a clever ball and a good ball, and Stevenson now is motoring. Can Tanser get back? It's still Stevenson into the box. Oh, he's got way too much in the cross, and that's going to go all the way out on the far side for a throw. And he did so well, Lucas Stevenson, to cope with the surface, to knock the ball forward into the penalty area, and what he had to do at the end was find the final ball onto the head of a teammate, but he got too much on it and right over all their heads. And a disappointing end for Dundee United to a promising attack.
Yeah, it's happened a few times throughout the game. Dundee United are able to switch it, get down their side, and then get an overload. And as soon as they get the overload and play it in behind, it's Lucas Stevenson that time, but he's got a full half a pitch to run into. Great first touch to get it out his feet, which allows Tanser not able to get back to him. It allows him his second touch to be able to pick out, but he's got three bodies in there, Al, and doesn't pick out anyone and puts out for a throw on the far side. But the bit for me that I keep going on about is Dundee United have been there time and time again and not been able to get a good ball in the box. They're wasteful of the opportunities when they get into good positions.
Yovu forward, Gogic has half dealt with it, but it's going to break for Chevalier here on the edge of the box. Fata now inside the area. To his right is Kamara. Kamara feeds it in. Gogic does enough there to knock it clear. Chevalier stayed down inside the box, and he looks to be in some pain. Left arm in the air. Matthew McDermott takes a glance at him. Play continues with United still in possession. Left hand side. Chevalier's back on his feet now, holding his ribs, I think, but seems to be okay as Aggie picks up and plays it to his left hand side for Kerestej, and that's a good inviting ball, and Tanser heads behind for a corner. Really good ball that from Kerestej, just begging for a teammate to go and win that. Now United complaining that there was a previous infringement there on Chevalier with the earlier ball into the box. I'm sure it will be checked by John Beaton now that the ball is out of play, but at the moment it looks like it will just be a United corner on this right hand side.
He's saying it was a knee to the ribs, but funnily enough, when St Mirren were breaking, you know, he was on the ground and then the ball got recycled wide by Dundee United, and all of a sudden he looked up and he was back on his feet, so I don't think there was too much in it.
One apiece as this United corner from the right hand side prepares to be taken by Farrugia. It's a dangerous one, headed away by Bacchus, well at the near post, picked up here by Fata right hand side. A couple of players around about him, including the St Mirren equaliser scorer Jake Young. Fata's done well, he's won it back and he's won the corner only as Bacchus on the cover knocks it behind. But this is a good response from United to having lost that early equaliser.
Yeah, great response, and you can see what Fata can do when he's able to get turned and drive at people. He can move the ball quickly, he's more of a dribbler, but you need to get the ball, him facing the goal, to be able to do what he's good at and play to his strengths, and if he can do that, then it's certainly going to cause problems for St Mirren.
Farrugia once more from this right hand side. He's got good delivery on the left foot, a packed 6-yard box. Can he pick someone out? It's another good ball, but it's glanced away by Freckleton this time. Kamara will go and try and get it, can't keep it in, but it will be a United throw in over on the left hand side. He won't be rushing to take this one though. He's going to get Ross Graham to come and take it. Well, Ross Graham's got a good aerial threat. In fact, he's taken this one short to Kamara, left hand side, gets it back. Graham plays it into the area now. United head, clips onto Chevalier, right hand side, challenged by Gogic at the expense of another corner right hand side for United. Can they make this pressure count? He's taken a corner quickly. It's Farrugia here, right hand side, sends it to the back post. Another good header by Freckleton. It's a St Mirren player down inside the 6-yard box. The United fans aren't happy, but it's a facial knock, or so it appears, and Matthew McDermott does halt play with United in possession, and it didn't please the home fans, but I think it's Scott Tanzer there who's down now, up on his hands and knees. But as soon as a player goes down holding their face or their head, and the referee's really got to stop play. He can't take any risks.
No, he can't take risks, but in my experiences of playing here as a United player, that's exactly what you're expecting. Balls into the box, headers, goalkeeper making saves, more crosses, more corners, constant pressure, persistent with it, and it gets the crowd behind the goal, right behind you, and you begin to feel that energy in the stadium. I think that's what's happening right now. That's what it looks like, that's what it feels like within the stadium. St Mirren have got their backs to the wall. It's just continuous crosses. But the one thing that hasn't happened is Shamal George hasn't had a save to make yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, I thought we were going to come in there. The ball comes into the box, and I didn't see what happened with Tanzer, but they've defended their box pretty well, St Mirren, but you are looking, I think, for like a strange decision there. Fair enough if Ross Graham's going to, and it wasn't a bad ball into the box, but he's the biggest danger from the set play, the long throw. So he comes out to take it, and then he goes short, and all of a sudden you've got your centre back in a wide position trying to whip it into the box when really he should be in there. So again, it just comes down to maybe decision making and doing the right things at the right time. But they have been slightly wasteful, Dundee United, but in the last 10 minutes, I think that's why maybe Tanzer, I don't want to assume, and hope he's okay and maybe get a knock to the nose, but this will take the sting and the momentum out of that wave after wave of attack from Dundee United, because they were starting to build a bit of momentum there.
Yeah, Tanzer still getting treatment. I think he clashed with Ross Graham in the box eventually, and St Mirren medics are on treating him just now. It might be a little bit of bleeding there, although Lindeloo is giving the thumbs up to the bench as if to say he's okay to continue. I think now he's got 2 thumbs up. Yep, he's quite emphatically giving the thumbs up there. I've not seen that done so vociferously for some time, but anyway, I think will suggest that Tanzer can continue. Oh no, now the physio is doing the old make a sub gesture with the hands. So
Declan John with his blanket back on over him and then back out again, no doubt. I'd imagine it'll be him that yeah,
he's coming down the touchline. There's nothing more frustrating as a manager when you're standing there and you're waiting to see are they coming off or are they staying on, and you get a thumbs up to think, right, he's staying on. Then you ask, are you sure? And you get 2 thumbs up to say he's definitely staying on. Then he's settled down, everybody sit back down, and then the next thing you know, the physio's giving a substitute. So you're wanting to know, and you're wanting clarity as quickly as you possibly can get, so you can make the right decision and what's going down. You can get the set pieces set up. You know who's picking up who, because let's be honest, Dundee United have a lot of set pieces so far this second half. There's been a lot of pressure on the St Mirren goal, and you want to be able to set that out. So Stephen Robinson's now pulling Mark O'Hara over to try and fix it himself, because he knows he's limited with time, and they're trying to make sure that he's got as much messaging and clarity on the pitch as he possibly can just now.
So the substitution is going to be made, despite Dan Lindeloo's big thumbs up to the bench, unless he thinks that thumbs up means you've got to make the change. But it will be Declan John coming on. The home fans not entirely sympathetic to Scott Tanzer's issues here, but off he goes and on comes Declan John. It's a like for like at the back. Declan John has been the first choice left wing back for much of the season. It's a drop ball to United, and we're back underway, but that was a fairly lengthy stoppage there. We've played just over 19 minutes of the second half now, and it's 1 apiece in a game that is finely balanced. But United, that was a reasonable point there, because they'd had that good spell, and does that stoppage just kind of take the impetus out of that.
Yeah, it stops the momentum, it breaks up play, you're in your flow, you can feel the atmosphere building, you can feel the excitement behind the goals, begin to suck the ball towards the goals. That's what it feels like here at Tannadice when you're shooting down the hill. But that all changes as soon as Tanser goes down, and I don't know how long that was, maybe 3-4 minutes, it felt a while. But you've took the energy out the team now. They need to try and go and build that again, because what United had done is they changed the momentum in the game, because St Mirren had come out the traps the second half flying.
Here's Bacchus lining up a long throw right hand side for St Mirren, about 10 yards from the corner flag, into the edge of the 6-yard box. Lundell gets first to Phillips with the header off the post. So close to a second for St Mirren. Phillips holds the head with a hand, because he knows how close he was to putting St Mirren in front for the first time in the game. For the first time, the long throw-in works there from Bacchus, and a yellow card shown to Fata, I think it was, for the challenge there down below us, and St Mirren will have a free kick just inside the United half. But Killian Phillips so unlucky there to see that header come back off the upright.
Yeah, for half a second I thought it was going to drop in there, John.
Well, Bacchus was just getting warmed up his long throw in the first half, Rory, because he seemed to go distance in the second half.
That was a lot better.
Another St Mirren player requiring treatment here. I wasn't sure exactly who that was that went down, but it did look like Fata was yellow carded for the challenge there. But
I don't know if Stephen Robinson's trying to tweak something in the midfield, because I mean Declan John for Scott Tanser is a like for like change with no real need to upset anything, but he brought Mark O'Hara over, and he was I don't know whether it was a structure within the midfield, but he's just said the same to Killian Phillips. I don't know whether they're maybe wanting to get two further forward now and one sitting, or vice versa, but it'll be interesting to see if there's any changes.
Well, incidentally, see when you're saying that, I'm looking at a different flow in it from the second half began, and when it's going forward into Indaloo, it's coming back. Phillips is running this left channel, so they're trying to drag a centre back out so Phillips can exploit the space that's left behind, but Jake Young still staying central. But Phillips has stopped that at the last little bit of the game, so it looks as if he's trying to implement that again, because they were getting joy out of it.
Here's a free kick from Declan John. Miguel Freckleton's back on his feet and plays back underway as Fraser tries to help it into the box. Kerestej gets in the way though and manages to knock it clear. Now it's Waters left hand side for United, bringing them forward, plays it down the left flank. Aggie not quite able to latch onto that as Zach Sapsford sounds like he's about to come on for Dundee United for Max Waters, as United have the throw in over on the far side. They've drawn the last couple at home of United. Only Rangers have drawn as many in the league overall. As here's Yovu, right hand side of the box. It's a good ball in. Here's the header. Should have been on target, but it's wide from Fata. He rose unmarked at the edge of the 6-yard box, and he should really have been hitting the target there, but it's 2 or 3 yards wide in the end of Shamal George's left hand post, and it remains Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, I would go one step further. I think he's got to score. The amount of time he's got in the box to try and direct that header into the corner, if that was with his feet, he would be saying it's got to be a goal. And I don't think it's a particularly difficult header, because as I said, he's completely unopposed. He's frustrated, you can see that in him. He gets up high, he times his jump well, and he simply just doesn't direct the header. I don't even think it needs to be right in the corner, because it's going back across the keeper's natural movement to go back across the goal. And I think Dundee United should be 2-1 up with that chance.
His initial movement, was really good, because Yovo takes it out his feet here, just in front of us, and as he does that, he takes 2 or 3 steps forward to take guide the defender in there, and as soon as he checks back out, and when he checks back out, he's in acres of space, and as Rory says, head it back across. But I don't even feel he needs to put any pace in the ball. It's just heading it back.
He's trying to be too precise,
because the goalkeeper's weight's all going in the opposite direction. Just put it back where it came from, and that's a big chance for me.
Yeah, definitely looked like one. As St Mirren get the free kick as Aggie takes Phillips down. It looked like a pretty accidental collision, but nonetheless,
he needs to be careful. He's already on a booking.
Yeah, he does. The two of them have come together a few times. I think that was, as I say, accidental, but nonetheless a free kick, which will be taken here by Shamal George on the left hand side, midway inside St Mirren's half. One apiece it is after 24 minutes of the second period. George plays it down the left. St Mirren have it. Yovu puts his head in where it hurts and gets himself a free kick for a high boot. And United now get the free kick about 10 yards outside their own penalty. It's played short to Aggie and out to the right hand side for Chevalier. Turns nicely away from Mark O'Hara. Back infield he comes. Aggie once more taking over. And now Kamara to the left hand side. Feigns to play out to the left, and then he eventually does to Keristej. Left hand side now is Farrugia. Farrugia at the edge of the box. That's too close to the goalkeeper though. Poor ball on that occasion, and George bowls it out for Bacchus, who's lasted well. Wonder how much longer he will last, having recovered from that lengthy injury in the last couple of weeks. Kamara picks up possession, tries to feed it forward for Fata, but Freckleton read it and steps in and feeds it forward to Phillips. Phillips left hand side, takes a little deflection. Yeovil will have to go and deal with it though, under pressure from Lundaloo. Back to Maynard Brewer, who left footed just knocks it straight out of play here on the halfway line. 1-1.
I'm liking what the front two of St Mirren are doing just now, because the ball's building up and the St Mirren are getting it from side to side, and when they are getting it to a side, Ross Graham is getting dragged out, because what they're doing is they're able to drag the outside centre back out to become a full back, and Ross Graham is then vacating essentially the pitch where he had so much control in the first half. He was able to go and win all the balls that were getting played forward, but now it's not as comfortable for him. St Mirren's movement in the front two has been good. Indaloo's coming short, Young's coming across the face, and it's Phillips that's making the run from deeper, which is making the Dundee United defence drop, so there's much more room for them now.
Throw into St Mirren. Bacchus is going to take it. The last one caused a bit of havoc. This one's from the left hand side. In it comes. Yovu wins it and then knocked away by Farrugia. Fraser's got a bit of defending to do. He heads it forward. Kamara will pick up and then turn it back in field for Aggie. Aggie closed down by Bacchus.
Like never a foul.
No, I thought it was a little bit of a barge in the back, to be honest with you, and the referee agrees, and it is a free kick Dundee United's way.
Comes in from the side and he kicks the ball. I mean, there's contact. Yeah, he barges into him ever so slightly, but he wins the ball. It comes in from the side. That's very, very soft.
John, you've got the casting vote. Was that a free kick?
No, not for me.
I'll take both of your words of wisdom.
See, as a midfielder, Al, you want to get contact. You want to let your opponent know that you're there, but you want to get contact on the ball and him preferably, because it becomes a case of you're just letting him know you're there. That's all that was for me. A competitive midfielder making a challenge, winning the ball, and of course he's left a little bit on him, but it's not a foul.
Will Ferry is being prepared for Dundee United as Shamal George sends it long, and it's Phillips picking up from outside of the box, and he goes for goal, but he's dragged it well wide in the end. And Phillips has come to life in the second half, hitting the frame of the goal with the header a few minutes ago, and trying his luck there.
He's come to life because he's closer to the front two. He's getting closer to them, and he's able to pick up seconds, and he's get strikes away, a header on goal from a flick on. He's picking up seconds, facing the Dundee United goal, rather than picking it up or trying to hook it on. He's been much closer to the front two this second half.
Goal kick taken by Maynard Brewer, high in the air off the head of Freckleton, helped on by Bacchus. Lundaloo then again helps it forward. Graham returns it. Bacchus gets his head to it, then Stevenson a little bit untidy. Zach Satchford with his more or less his first touch, plays it up towards the edge of the box, but Gogic gets it clear. There's Yeovil in the halfway line, losing out to Lundaloo. Now it's Jake Young, the scorer of the equaliser, coming forward on the left hand side. Aggie trying to get back at him. Young does well, plays it off Graham, gets inside the corner, and the St Mirren fans behind that goal away to our left rise in acknowledgement of Young's influence in this second half, and trying to urge their side to get the goal that would take them in front in their precious 3 points perhaps.
He's direct. He wants to drive with the ball, Rory, isn't he? You know, as a striker, get yourself in the box, because Jake Young's driving with the ball. He wants to get the ball in. They've got umpteen corners just simply because he wants to drive with the ball and be direct and try and hurt his opponent.
Mark O'Hara from the left hand side for St Mirren with the right foot here. The buddy skipper into the 6 yard box. Gogic, can he get turned and hammer it in? It's blocked somehow. Bacchus is in there and then knocked away by Chevalier. Somehow Dundee United survived there as Gogic spun and knocked it goalwards, but it was a terrific block in there from the United back line, and it remains somehow Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1.
He does ever so well there, Gogic, because what he does is he pins, I think it's Ross Graham, and Ross Graham just cannot move, and he takes the ball on his chest. But the issue he's got there is, how does he swivel and turn and shoot, because it's far too tight an area to try and lay it off to a teammate. He tries his best, but Dundee United ultimately defend the situation well enough to get it out of the box and clear of danger.
Here is Will Ferry coming on for Neil Farrugia. So he will operate on that left wing back role as he normally does. Will Ferry, a little bit of a surprise to see him out of the team in the last couple of weeks, but Farrugia did pretty well, I thought, for the most part. Here comes another Keanu Bacchus throw in, this time from the right hand side. A couple of Dundee United heads go for it, don't really get it clear. Graham trying to help them out as well. A little nudge perhaps there on Phillips as he tried to go for it. Eventually United managed to get it clear. Claims for a handball there, nothing given. Jaden Richardson is penalised for his challenge, and United will have a free kick, and it's all getting well, a little bit tousy out there as both sides go for the goal that might earn them the victory. Played forward down the left hand side by United, but Gogic reads it and then fires it forward. Keristej in the way, and he gets it forward to Aggie. Plays it square just on the halfway line to Chevalier. Now it's Yovu about 10 yards inside St Mirren territory. Well cut out there by Freckleton, but it's come to Yovu once more. Just manages to get it back into the path here of Aggie. Square for Kamara, midway inside the St Mirren half on the left hand side. Here's Ferry, we know he's got good delivery. Up against Richardson, little step over, low ball, isn't a great one to be fair. Fraser gets it clear, Keristej picks up, hoofs it high in the air. George is going to have to be careful, just threatened to come down just under his crossbar, but he took it well, the keeper. And a pretty poor attempt at a ball into the box, almost got lucky with it there, as Phillips does well to hold off Aggie, and then it's played forward by Bacchus but given away, and it's the ball is changing hands pretty regularly here as we enter the closing quarter of an hour at Tannadice. 1-1 it stands between Dundee United and St Mirren, a game that could still go either way. Down goes Graham, the attentions of Jake Young as if he was struck in the face there. He's holding his face. Referee quick to give the free kick. I'm not sure he's inclined to do anything more than that.
Yeah, that one did look a little bit worse than the rest, that's for sure. I think he does catch him. He's apologising now. Whether he means it or not, I'm not sure. I'm not sure intent's relevant there either, to be honest, if you're catching him that high. But credit to big Ross Graham, not like the others. Takes the dun, gets up, gets on with it.
There is a sighting of Johnny Russell with his training top off down on the touchline, so he's going to be given the last 15 minutes or thereabouts, including stoppage time, as the free kick is taken up towards Ross Graham. He's beaten to it and then nodded out of play by Declan John. I think Trapanovsky's also going to come on as United try and get the victory to keep their very faint hopes of top 6 football alive. It was extremely unlikely that they will go on such a good run and Falkirk will go on such a bad run that they'll get there. As the ball comes into St Mirren's 6-yard box, they get it clear, but only as far as Ferry, right hand side. He's head back in, the header, and turned behind there by Richardson. It'll be Dundee United corner on the left hand side. Lundaloo gesturing to the touchline there. I'm not sure what I think he's looking for some instructions, but just need to go and get back into that penalty area and help defend this situation as Fata prepares to take the corner kick from the left hand side. United looking to go back in front. It's a poor corner and easily dealt with by Richardson at the near post. Clear as far as Ferry, who returns it. That's a good looking ball, and it comes flicked on. Ross Graham with a chance. Penalty kick. I think there must have been a tug in there, was it? There's a big howl from the fans behind the goal for sure. Perhaps a handball. But either way, Matthew McDermott was pretty quick to point to the spot as Ross Graham was ultimately foiled in his attempts to put the ball in the back of the net. But he will have a chance to do exactly that from the spot with what we've got left. About 11 minutes here, and United have a penalty.
Yeah, it looks to me as Ferry puts the ball forward, and as he puts the ball forward, he's claiming for offside. That's why his hand's in the air. But there's a flick on. I think it's Ross Graham that flicks it on, but his hand's still in the air. And Gogic can't get his hand down in enough time to get it away from the ball, and it hits his arm. But he's claiming for offside.
I think he was offside.
It might go to VAR here.
Aye.
Well, yeah, it'll definitely be checked by VAR, as all these incidents are, and there could be a let-off for St Mirren then if he ultimately is offside. It was flicked on, I think, to Ross Graham, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Ferry. I think it's
Ferry puts the ball back in. Yeah,
Carestes flicks it on to Ross Graham, and Ross Graham goes to Gogic, puts his hands up and he stops Ross Graham getting it. Or sorry, it's flicked on to Ross Graham and then it comes into the box.
Yeah. My initial instinct was to say that when it first got put into the box, the player at the front post was offside. He doesn't get the first contact, so whether it actually impacts the game, but my initial instinct was there was at least one Dundee United player offside, so we'll wait and see what's given.
Yeah, well, there's a check going on, and Johnny Russell still preparing to come on. It looks like he'll come on regardless of whether this penalty is given or not, or scored or not, as he prepares to make his first start on his return. But there's a long check. Gogic is trying to explain to someone what the penalty's being given, isn't it?
Yep.
So the check's over. Alex Gogic is still trying to illustrate his point to the referee, but it doesn't matter because the officials have come to a decision, and that is that the penalty award is good, and therefore United will get the chance here. Gogic is still going on to the referee. Vicko Chevalier is standing on the penalty spot here. Do you know what? I think they might need a bit of white paint or something, or whitewash, whatever you call it these days, to mark the penalty spot. Is that what he's saying? He's gesturing across to the touchline here.
I think he's asking if they're making the subs first. That's what it looks like.
So that Johnny Russell can perhaps take the penalty.
What a story that would be.
Mark O'Hara's been having the decision explained to him here by the referee. Still we're waiting here. I'm not quite sure what the further delay is here. It looked like he was pointing to the spot, but maybe something else has been
checked. Still got his hand to his ear.
He's
pointed now to the spot, so there must have been something else they've checked after that. They may have checked the handball and then it's been the offside.
Yeah, well now Amar Fatah is going to get the opportunity before the subs are made, with just about 8 minutes left on the clock, to put Dundee United in front once more. So Shamal George charged here with trying to keep St Mirren level. He's taken up a position a couple of yards behind the goal line, as Jack Butland did on Sunday before he saved the initial effort from Rio Hatate. Let's see if it works here for Shamal George as Amar Fatah stands waiting on the referee's signal. It's a straight run up initially, just moves to the left, scores high into the roof of the nets as Shamal George now to his left, and Amar Fatah celebrates down at the corner flag as he puts Dundee United in the lead once again. It's Dundee United 2, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, big credit to Amar Fatah. I wasn't quite sure, just because he's missed a couple of chances in this game, but credit to him. I think he side foots it into the roof of the net, which you don't see all that often. It's usually a blast, but he leaves the goalkeeper Shamal George absolutely no chance. And the home side, Dundee United, retake the lead.
Now there's going to be a bigger row. The fans' favourites back, 13 years away. Johnny Russell's on the touchline.
I thought you were talking to yourself there, John.
Not quite, but wow, what a moment this is.
Well, Amar Fatah is going to be replaced by Trapanovsky, and here comes Johnny Russell. And St Mirren are going to make a change or two as well. Off comes Jayden Richardson, and on will come Richard King. And the other change for them is going to be the departure of Mark O'Hara, and Jamaro Calvin is a player coming on for him. They've only got 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time to drag themselves level once more, as United move into pole position for the 3 points, with Amar Fatah's penalty taking him on to 7 goals for the season. And it could be a really vital one. Lindeloo wins the flick on from the ball forwards. Chevalier now with the header over the halfway line. Sapsford and Gogic contest the ball. It's going to be a free kick to the visitors. Shamal George coming all the way out of his goal to take this one.
Credit to both teams. I know it's not been blessed with the most quality and there's conditions for that, but it's been a thoroughly enjoyable game. The two sides have put a lot into it. Really enjoyable game, but St Mirren really need to try and get a goal back here.
Shamal George clips it into the edge of the area, glanced on, could be a chance here. King, can he make anything of it? Still United can't get it clear. Now they force it out of the penalty area. John returns it, back in it comes from Calvin. Who's it going to break for here at the edge of the box? It's King, can he get the shot away? Lundaloo takes over, back with King once more, but United again got a boot in the way and then managed to get it clear. Back in it comes again once more. Phillips is in there, can he get the shot off? Lundaloo, the referee spotted an infringement by Phillips there. He's not happy, but he did catch the United player there, and now he's taken out his anger and frustration on the floored United player. And
it's Carestes.
Yeah, I think he did just catch him there as he went in. Studs shown somewhat, and the referee quick to give the free kick to Dundee United, who are looking to see out just a fourth home win of the season to take them on to 33 points here, and it will leave St Mirren in a perilous situation still at the bottom of the table, just 3 points above the relegation playoff zone, as Ashley Maynard-Brewer prepares to take this free kick from inside his own area. Under 5 minutes of regulation time left to play. There will be a fair chunk, you would imagine, of added on time, as it's taken over the halfway line. Breaks for Aggie, just thumps it aimlessly forwards, and that's an easy take for Shamal George, who waves everyone forward and then launches it over the halfway line looking for Lundaloo. Graham wins the header though. Back forward once more by Freckleton, and it'll be chased there by Calvin, but knocked out of play by Yovu. And now St Mirren will have the throw in left hand side, looking for a second equaliser. They got the first early in this second period. They've hit the woodwork since then, but they're behind now. It's John into the box though from the left hand side. United able to knock it out for the throw in rather than the corner. Stevenson getting the last touch there, and Bacchus will try and launch the ball back into the box here. Just over 3 minutes of the 90 left, and it comes from the Bacchus throw-in. Not clear once and then again after John returns it, and now Gogic has got to be careful here. Rolls it back to his keeper under pressure from Johnny Russell, and Shamal George fires it out to the left hand side. Stevenson heads it, and Stephen Robinson first to catch it as it goes out of play, and St Mirren quickly take the throw in down the left hand side. Good challenge from Yovu, but John's there at the byline. Into the box it comes. Graham gets it clear. It's going to be picked up here by King. Into the feet at the edge of the box of Bacchus. He spins away but can't evade all the challenges, and St Mirren still have it though, as John on the left hand side in desperate search for a second goal here, but United get the lines cleared again. It's a clever ball from Johnny Russell for Sapsford, crossing the halfway line, feeds it out to the left hand side for Trapanovsky, up against King here on the left of the area, drives into the box now on the right foot, catches the shot but knocked away by Declan John. Comes out to Aggie, who goes for goal from distance, and it's a pretty comfortable stop there for Shamal George. Just a couple of minutes left of the 90, and it's Dundee United 2, St Mirren 1. Breathless stuff just at the moment as St Mirren again try and get it forward early. As Rory says, it has been an entertaining game. Maybe not the purest, most silky football you've ever seen in your life, but plenty of action, and it's not over yet as Lundaloo barges Graham off the ball. Good strength from him, fed by Bacchus looking for King, but it's cut out there by Ferry. But Dundee United sitting back deep here, trying not to avoid conceding a second equaliser, as Gogic in the centre circle clips it out to the left hand side, but he's not got enough on it, and he's knocked it straight out of play instead of finding Declan John, who was his target. And United are certainly not in a massive rush at this stage as we enter the final 90 seconds of the 90 minutes.
They're inviting pressure though, Al. The ball's getting cleared and it's only Johnny Russell up the pitch, and the defence aren't coming out, the midfield's not coming out behind it, they're just waiting at the edge of the box rather than continuing to come out. They have to come out. Either that, they're going to invite more pressure, and at some point St Mirren may just get it right, and if they do get it right, then they concede a goal. They have to make sure, keep the ball away from our goals, but keep the bodies away from our goal as well. Make sure we squeeze out, don't give them a minute, because all that's happening is they're inviting pressure on top of them.
Jamal George with a long punt up the field. Kerestes gets his head to it, and Trapanovsky flicks it on. Fraser is there. Fraser, whose own goal started the scoring early this evening, headed out of play there by Lindelöf. There's going to be 6 minutes here added on. We're almost at that point just now, but that will give St Mirren hope and belief that they can find another equaliser. Trailing 2-1 at the moment though, and heading for another away defeat this season. There have been far too many of them for St Mirren's liking, as Ferry takes the throw in down the left, headed on by Sapsford, returned there by Freckleton, picked up though. Freckleton took someone out at the edge of the box, and
let it play.
Well, the free kick's been given, and Freckleton shown the yellow card for the challenge. Certainly the United player was wiped out at the edge of the box. Stevenson has the ball on the right hand side of the box. I'm not sure. I mean,
if the cross gets blocked out, he's going to cross it. If it gets blocked, then you pull it back. But give him the opportunity to slide it across goal, where you get 3 players rushing in to try and put it in the net, and then you can reassess things. I just think he blew up a little bit earlier there. Maybe I'm being hypercritical, I don't know.
There'll be a free kick in a pretty tasty position. Johnny Russell looks like he fancies this from 25 yards as Teti comes on for the final few minutes of stoppage time for Lindelöf. The first act here will be going to help the defence here. He's going to join the wall, I think. Kiana Teti, as Johnny Russell is lining this up. What's it, about 25 yards? Pretty central, very slightly right of centre. And Johnny Russell is going to try and gain even further adulation from these adoring United fans by putting this one in the top corner and settling the game once and for all.
He couldn't, could he, Al?
Well, I think he very much
good
could.
range.
He very much could. Whether he will or not is another matter. Here he is, left-footed Johnny Russell off the top of the wall. There's your answer. Pokes it to Sapsford though, knocks it back into the area, cleared by Freckleton. As United come again down the left-hand side, looking for that third goal that would kill St Mirren off. They've certainly got the ball in the area of the pitch that they want it right now. It's a throw-in down near the corner flag, left-hand side for United as we enter the second minute of stoppage time. And Ferry lines up the long throw-in here. 2-1 United leads in the latter stages of this game at Tannadice. It's been hard fought. Still a few minutes left to play as the ball comes into the United box and it breaks back, and not too far wide there from Trapanovsky. Must have taken a glancing touch of a St Mirren player on its way through there, and wide for a corner, and that didn't seem to miss by much by the reaction of Trapanovsky.
This is where United want to be. This is where they want to be at this stage in the game. So often we've seen it, they're in front or defending a lead and they're in their own box. Just now they've got a corner, they're in opposition half, they're quite happy. They need to make sure they can keep the game here. For the next 3 or 4 minutes, Al just takes his thing out it, keep putting the ball into the St Mirren box, make them defend, bring them all back the pitch and see out the game well. See out the game in your terms.
Ferry's corner kick from the right hand side, left footed to the back post. Out comes George, comes to Stevenson, his shot's charged down at the edge of the penalty area. Gogic gets it clear. Aguirre returns it though. Gogic is there once more to head it forward. Picked up here by Eteti, trying to force it down the left hand side, but Ferry's in the way. Chiveria helps it on, and then Gogic just steps across and sees it out for a throw, in which he takes quickly down the left hand side for Eteti once more. Eteti trying to spin away there from Aguirre. He goes down and it's going to be a St Mirren free kick just a few yards inside their own half. Jamal George again will come well out of his goal to take this. We've got 3 minutes of injury time left to play. United 2, St Mirren 1. Jim Goodwin stands with arms folded at the touchline there, hoping upon hope that his side can hang on for the 3 points here. It's missed by Graham as it comes into the penalty area, but the referee says there was a shove there, and United get the free kick just outside their own penalty area. There's another player gone down off the ball. Not sure what that was all about.
I think he's down with cramp, but the thing being, they don't want the referee to add any more time on. Just get up, get the ball forward and defend from the St Mirren half. You don't need to defend your own half, defend in the St Mirren half. Put the ball in there and make sure everybody's squeezed out. This is an important 3-4 minutes for United. I know we're saying they're miles behind Falkirk, which they are, but it builds momentum going into Friday night's game for the Scottish Cup, and that can then set them up for the rest of the season. We're getting to the semi-final. It's an important time just now.
Yeah, certainly psychologically going into that with a victory rather than losing a late equaliser would be big, as the free kick's taken but headed away by Freckleton, not once but twice, helped on by Phillips. St Mirren pick up. It's Phillips once more in the middle of the park. Bacchus, that's a poor ball though. Ferry will get to it first, plays it forward. Sapsford will try and make something of this, can't get the first touch to it. Gogic tries to see it back to his goalkeeper. George comes off his line and grabs it. Sapsford getting in his way to try and block the quick clearance. Rolled out instead here to Freckleton, left hand side up to the halfway line, plays it down the left flank. It's a good ball for John, who helps it on for Young. Young's into the box, left hand side of it, lays it back to Declan John once more, almost at the byline, looking to find room for the cross, swings it into the near post. Good take from Maynard Brewer. Important stuff from the United keeper there, with just 1 minute left of the 6 added on. It's still Dundee United 2, St Mirren 1. As Maynard Brewer launches it over the halfway line. Sapsford and Fraser grappling. Gogic gets his head to it. Chevalier heads it out to this right hand side, but it will come and bounce out of play for a St Mirren throw-in. Have they got one last effort in them here, the visitors, to find the equaliser? It's played long forward. It's going to break for Etete, and now left hand side is Young into the area, comes off the head there of Aguier. Chevalier helps it on. St Mirren looking to try and keep it alive. John and Stevenson go up. Freckleton wins it, comes off Sapsford last. It's a throw-in taken quickly. Young's been held there, gets it to Freckleton nonetheless. Challenge there by Chevalier's penalised. The scissor action taking out the defender there, and St Mirren have got a free kick a yard or two to the left of the penalty area, and a last chance here surely to claim a point. We've played the 6 minutes. This very much will be the last chance of the game. St Mirren have got to take it, or else they're heading back down to Paisley with 0 points.
That only happens, Al, because Juve tries to jump, and as he tries to jump, the St Mirren attackers allow to spin him. So then Savage is forced to make the foul, and now the ball's going to get played into the box. Dundee United need to defend this. They don't want to be here at this time in the game.
Just about everyone back inside that 6 yard box. The referee has got something to say to a couple of players before it's delivered. It's Ross Graham.
Shamal George was desperate to go up the pitch, but he was told no.
Was he told no? I don't know why, because
I don't know either.
I mean, they're losing 2-1 and it's the last kick of the ball virtually. It's Bacchus left hand side, 2 yards outside the penalty area. Here he is, Bacchus delivers to the back post. He's got too much on it, straight out of play. What a waste.
It's unforgivable.
It could be the last kick of the ball, and it really is unforgivable. It is the last kick of the ball. Dundee United have the 3 points, and St Mirren with a big opportunity there at the death to try and create something. And Keanu Bacchus sends the free kick straight out of play and behind for a goal kick. And St Mirren find themselves pointless on the road once again. No wins in 12 now away from home in the league. It's dreadful form, and it's exactly why they find themselves right down in the mire near the foot of the table. And they will go into the Scottish Cup break just 3 points above Kilmarnock in 10th spot. The goals came this evening early on. The first one came from Marcus Fraser, but unfortunately for him and St Mirren, it went into his own net after a shot was saved by George, but Fraser somehow guided the header on the rebound into his own net to make it 1-0. That was the score at half time, but St Mirren came out the traps and got a leveller just a couple of minutes into the second period as Scott Tanzer found Jake Young, and with just his second touch after coming on, he hammered the ball past Ashley Maynard Brewer to make it 1 apiece. Chances at either end beyond that. Ross Graham had a header just wide. Phillips had a header off the frame of the goal as St Mirren looked to go in front before Fata headed wide with a great opportunity, but then it was Fata himself who got what ultimately proved to be the winning goal from the penalty spot. It was a handball given inside the St Mirren penalty area as Ross Graham tried to latch on to a header inside the penalty area, and the referee pointed to the spot, and up stepped Amar Fata and stroked the ball beyond Shamal George to take all 3 points for Dundee United and move them to within 9 of Falkirk in 6th place. Still, their chances of making the top 6 are slim, but they have kept their hopes alive of doing so, and as John said, perhaps more importantly, go into the cup game against Falkirk on Friday in really positive mood, having got the victory here at Tannadice tonight. It finishes Dundee United 2, St Mirren 1.
This